Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teen safer as they grow, like making sure they always have their seatbelt on.
All right, buckle up. Good job.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Welcome to News from the Crabby Coffee Shop with your host, Dawn McLean, from the adventures of Bradley and Dawn on My Talk 1071, Garage Logic's newsman, Mr. FYI, John Haidt, and the crabbiest guy in the coffee shop, Kenny Olson.
McLean, how you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. I have a 2-day migraine, which isn't too bad since I had one for 70 days last year.
Yikes. Well,
but I know what it is now. They figured out it's my neck, so I just have to get some neck work done,
Yeah.
So I'm wearing sunglasses right now. I know this is a podcast.
You look so cool. Seriously awesome.
I am a middle-aged woman.
Haidt,
do you think we should put on some Miles Davis just so?
You guys wear sunglasses too.
On?
Everybody puts sunglasses on.
We should have some Miles playing. Haidt, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Apparently the best of the bunch, it sounds like.
You're doing better than me, but I'm not bad because I'm not sitting on a 3320 driving from Minnesota to Washington State like our first guest is. Mike Atkinson is doing a tractor trip for Parkinson's. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. We're getting blown on pretty hard out here.
Oh, yeah?
Where are you currently? You've got to be really close to the Twin Cities.
I'll be damned if I know. No, I'm on St. Croix Trail, the sign says, and then I'm in a clover field and staring at a gopher hole.
Oh.
Let's see, I'm probably, I don't know, somewhere maybe 15 miles from Taylor Falls.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Okay.
So you worked your way down south. What was that on Highway 47?
No, primarily on 65.
Oh, very busy highway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, yesterday. Yeah, it really was. Yeah, there's a lot of truck traffic. So, but everybody's really patient with me, so that's good.
Yeah. And now you're working your way over to Taylor Falls. And are you going to cross over into the land of cheese, or are you going to stay on the correct side of the St. Croix River?
Well, no, I can't say anything bad because my wife's a badger. So.
All right.
Kenny.
I'll lay off that line of questioning. Sorry,
Mixed
Mike.
marriage.
but she grew up. She's from Hibbing, but she went over there. But anyway, I will go over to. I'm trying to get around the cities.
Yeah.
So I'm going over, and on the other side of St. Croix Falls, I'll hit 65 then and head south.
Yep.
To is it New Richmond?
Yep.
And from there, then I kind of angle over, hit the river, and down through Rochester. And then
cool.
I'm headed to Waterloo.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wow. So, can you tell everybody why you're doing all of this? Because you're not just riding around for fun.
Well, kind of. But, yes, it was first my brother-in-law, who's lives here in Hibbing, and he and I used to talk back and forth. I live in Washington, of course, and he said, well, I sure could use your tractor. Well, we'd laugh about it for 2-3 years, and then, and then all of a sudden I thought, you know what? I'm 77. I can use that activity. So I started planning on it, and then my brother came down with diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's been real traumatic for... now I know quite a number of people with Parkinson's. So then I thought, you know what? I think I can raise money doing this. So then we joined forces with American Parkinson's Disease Association Northwest chapter to raise money for them. And they provide like research, as well as what we really enjoyed is that in-home stuff for, like, my brother's pretty isolated. A lot of services aren't available and that kind of thing. And I found a lot of people that way on this trail, kind of isolated. So anyway, long story short is that last year I drove out from Washington to Perch Lake or Hibbing area, and which was 1,700 miles, and we raised $56,000.
Wow.
And so this year I'm doing about 2,700 miles, just a different route back to Washington. So, and we're just getting started, actually. So this is my third day out.
And so it's on the same tractor. So when you got here last year, you just stashed it, right? Put it in the shed for the winter, or what?
Yeah, well, no, it had a blue tarp.
Oh.
It was covered with snow. We put some of that on our website, and people say, "When you leave it?" I said, "When that snow melts."
Right. It took a long time this year.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you seem to have had a lot of snow too.
So how's that 3320 treating you on the highway? How fast you going?
12, 13.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
Wow.
No. The worst part is, here in Minnesota, some really nice highways, but some are not, especially for a guy who's supposed to run on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Those expansion lines are not catered to by the DOT, so they're pretty bumpy. About every 20 yards, you chatter your teeth. So
Right.
it gets a little old after 5-6 hours. But,
yeah, I feel guilty. I was just talking about before you joined us that I have a migraine today, but you have to drive through all that anyway. There's no stopping for you if you have a headache, and then you're going over all of these bumps as well.
Well, it's really not as rough as sometimes you think, but
yeah,
because it's not like I have to be to work next Monday.
Right, right.
That's really nice.
So
Wow.
if I feel bad, well, I got this 4x6 foot trailer that I can crawl into and take a nap if I want to.
I love that. And I like the way it's decorated. I mean, you really are letting people know, what you're doing. It says Tractor Trip for Parkinson's. On the side, you have a link for people to donate if they see you on the road, a QR code. I mean, for 77, you're pretty hip and up with the times here.
Well, my wife's a lot younger, and she is a badger,
Yes.
So she keeps me on. She keeps me organized.
Oh, yeah.
Mike,
Wow.
how many hours a day do you ride, Mike? Because I just did some math figuring the mileage and everything.
Of course.
I came up with about 210 hours. So how long do you ride every day?
It really depends. It's pretty good now. When I left Washington to come out here, I was up on Lake Sherman Pass, which is 5,500 feet, the highest pass in Washington, and I got really snowed on, and everything was. I was really cold, and I was soaked. And so that day, you can imagine, as soon as I got down out of there, I found a place to stay.
Yeah.
Take a hot shower. But, as you guys, if you've driven tractors, which I think somebody said Ken is the tractor guy.
Yeah, and so is Dawn.
Yeah, I've driven a tractor.
Dawn's all about that.
Okay, you're all tractors. Well,
I'm a country kid.
Sometimes people say, well, gosh, Mike, it must be fun because you just get to go 12 miles an hour and you look at everything. Well, you really can't with a tractor.
Yeah.
You know how they just wander so quick.
Mm-hmm.
And So I'm not only looking at the traffic coming at me, and then in the mirrors, what's coming up behind me, and then looking at my right wheel to keep it out of the ditch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're just on it all the time, and there's no really off time. So I found right away that you just at the 4, 5, 6 hours, pretty soon you just feel really
you're
like you need a
frazzled.
massage.
You're absolutely frazzled. People don't realize, people that encounter tractors and heavy machinery on the highway, we hate doing that. It really, really sucks because you're trying not to hit mailboxes. You're trying not to hit oncoming cars. You try to give the people behind you enough clearance to get around you. And it's just flat out nerve wracking. And I know you're going 12 and I've got a 40-44 that I can do 19 in. But as soon as you look away, you start drifting. And hitting the ditch at 19 miles an hour in a big tractor, that's not a fun experience.
No.
Have you had any close calls?
Well, only with the trucks sometimes when I was coming over the passes in Washington, some of the logging trucks.
Oh.
They're going by me, passing me, and not coming, but with me, passing, and that just gets a little hairy because they're throwing snow and rocks at me, and there's no cab on that thing. So
sure.
And I feel like sometimes I can reach out and touch.
Oh God! Wow.
Touch the logs. So just, but other than that, part of the reason.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. Well, I have devised a scheme for you to help you out here. There's a lot of places here in Minnesota called Midwest Machinery. They're kind of a dealership that they're all over the state. You could swing into one of those things with your tractor and drive out of there with the same thing with a heated and air-conditioned cab. And because the value of your tractor is probably held up pretty well, it looks like it's in really nice shape. Let's face it, all the miles are highway miles, right? And it probably doesn't even have miles. It's just an hour a timekeeper thing. And you could just finance it and get right into another tractor with a cab on it and a radio.
What, are you getting
and the
a
whole
cut,
deal.
Kenny?
No, I'm thinking of his comfort.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking you've got to make a couple of mountain passes on the way back. Are you choosing Montana or Wyoming? How are you going to get back?
Yeah, I'll go straight west, pretty much across to Iowa, South Dakota, close to Nebraska, and then into Wyoming, and then I'll start angling up because I got to go to the North Cascade Pass back into Bellingham, Washington.
Sure.
It's the only really good pass for me with a tractor. So I'll angle up through Yellowstone, and hopefully this deer can run faster than bears.
That's a good one.
So, yeah, I'll go up to Sandpoint, Idaho.
Okay.
And visit a friend there that has Parkinson's, and he's written a couple books. He's on people's experience with Parkinson's, which I thoroughly enjoy. So, anyway, yeah, I'll get up that way. But I'm afraid, it's probably. I just tell people it's probably a couple months on the road.
Sure.
I'm telling you, Mike, swing in, get yourself a cab.
Kenny, he wants to tough it out.
No, that's too tough.
Listen, I have had people. In fact, I spoke at a Rotary before I left, and a couple of the guys in there are guys that helped me, that work for John Deere and helped me outfit this thing and get it ready to go. They said, well, how come Brad didn't give you a cab? I said, no. I said, I don't want that. I said, I don't think you can sit in the comfort of a cab, listen to music, air conditioning, and expect people to donate. You got to suffer a bit.
Oh, yeah, see?
I disagree with those people.
Well, you're doing a great job. Now, tell us about the John Deere Museum. You spent some time there, or you're going to?
I'm going there, and I know nothing about it. It's in Waterloo, as well as there's a factory there, a John Deere factory.
Yeah.
I think they do big machinery, nothing small like I'm driving. But
yeah.
So I'm hoping to visit with some of those people, and then I have a few on our trip out here. We did about 8 different TV interviews, which really helped with the funds because it just kept people knew I was coming because of the TV. So it was wonderful. So I think that's going to happen down there. It's kind of interesting. I was going to go to Moline, and my thoughts were I would go sit on their lawn at their corporate office until they wrote a big check, and then I wouldn't leave.
Yeah, I endorse that idea. Yeah.
Well, they kept. I never did talk to the CEO. I sent a few letters, but never got an answer. But I did get an answer from the foundation, and they strongly encouraged me to go to Waterloo and not to Moline.
Go there. I see.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When you get there, I think the amount of publicity that you've earned for John Deere, you deserve to drive one of those big John Deere quad tracks. Just say, I've done a lot for your company here. Why don't you just give me 10 minutes in a quad track? Because you got to drive one of those things, Mike. They're absolutely the coolest thing out there, and they're a lot of fun to drive. You'd love it.
Oh, wouldn't that be cool? I thought it would. Just for the pictures, I'd like to hook this trailer onto one of those.
Yes.
Pictures.
That's a great idea. You should do that. Well, tell us where we can donate, Mike. Where can we send our checks?
Well, there is the QR code on my website, and there's last year's trip videos and stuff on YouTube and on Facebook, and you can get to either of those just by putting in tractor trip for Parkinson's.
Very
and
good.
That'll take to. I've taken some shots of the QR code and put them on there, and it does work. Let's see. It's kind of it goes to the APDA in Seattle. It goes directly, and then it's tax deductible, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. I've got it on the side here, but it's kind of a crazy address. I don't know why it had to be that way, but it is. It's a bit.ly/tractor-trip.
Very good. And we will have our producer, Ross, here put that up so people on our Twitter page and our pages on the website, they can click on there and give you some money.
Oh, gosh, that'd be wonderful. I really appreciate this. This is great support. And, guys, feel free to call in, check on me.
Oh, yes.
Mike, are you able to listen to music or radio or anything on your trip, or is it just the sound of that 3320 droning all day?
I have some Bose headphones that I wear for the sound.
Yeah.
To cut that down. But, yeah, then I've got my telephone and playing music on that.
Cool.
Great.
Well, you should check out our podcast. It's News from the Crabby Coffee Shop. And we interview people like you. And we also, last year, we were fortunate enough to interview somebody that had been abducted by aliens.
Oh, God.
And I really think you'd enjoy listening to some back episodes of this really, really stupid podcast that we do.
I wouldn't advise listening to that one. That was a
good one, Don.
It was it.
It's a classic.
Wow.
Mike, the aliens were taking his nipples. I mean, come on.
I feel embarrassed.
Yeah, it's worth listening to. I'm very proud of it.
Oh, God, stop.
I guess our interview's over, Mike.
Now, wait, John, didn't you have something?
I did have. The part that I liked about this story was apparently at the end of the day, Mike. I know you're tired and dirty, and you just want to relax for a minute. You like to seek out the local breweries, according to the story.
Absolutely.
Just to have a cold one before you hit the shower. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And in fact, in Washington, 2 breweries have their signs on the side of the trail.
Oh.
Colshan and North Fork Brewery, they did a collaboration beer, and it's called Tractor Trip.
Nice.
And it's being served out there right now as I left. So that's kind of cool. We were really excited about that. And when people come in and say, "Well, what the hell is that Tractor Trip stuff?" And it's an IPA, and then we have some little folders there that then the barkeep can just hand it to him and say, there's an idiot out there in a tractor. That's what this is about.
An idiot that's going to raise $100,000 this time for sure.
We hope, but I have to tell you too that John Deere, I don't think they're really too positive about what I'm doing. The distributors have been absolutely wonderful, but John Deere itself, no. I think that they're scared of the liability, and maybe I'm doing something with a John Deere that it wasn't made for.
Oh, sure.
I hope John Deere realizes there's another company, and they're red, and they're called Case. And maybe the Case equipment company might like to deal with Mike and do some good for Parkinson's.
Maybe I could leave it green, and then I'll just put a Case sticker.
Oh, God.
That would be the ultimate.
Yes. I feel like I need to be your agent here. This is good. Oh, well.
All right, Mike.
We'll check in again, though. We do this every Wednesday, so maybe in a month or so we'll check in and see how you're doing.
Yeah. I'll answer if the bears aren't chasing me.
Okay.
Right. Cool. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
Safe travels.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. These dumb kids, they don't get it, man. They could be on top of the world with this one song, and it never got past this place where it is right now, right?
I bet I've had half a dozen people send me a note saying, "Can I get a copy of that?" So, and I asked Dylan, he says, "Yeah, send him the demo if you want. We don't care." Because that's a demo.
And also give us $10. I mean,
nothing. Yeah, it's bizarre. Yeah.
What are they going to do when this shows up on somebody else's?
I've brought that up actually, and I said, "You haven't, it's not copyrighted or anything. What are you going to do?" He goes, "I got dates on the things that could show when I wrote it, et cetera, et cetera." So I don't.
Plus, we're saying it right here on a broadcast. That is property of Dylan.
Dylan and Dylan Reese.
The two Dylans that are just amazing together. I want to give a quick update here on the biggest badass in Wisconsin, Kennedy Swan. Racing finally started, and she was a past guest, I don't know, about a month or so ago.
Yes.
Racing finally started last weekend. It had been delayed for weeks and weeks due to all the rain and everything. So she started out Friday night at Red Cedar in Menominee, got a third in the heat, was on the pole for the feature, but then dropped back to sixth. I think she was having some handling difficulties. The next night in Rice Lake, Wisconsin, she was on the pole for the heat. I believe she finished third. She got a really lucky yellow and finished third in the heat. And then the feature, I think, rained out before she could get even on the track. And then on Sunday night, she went up to Granite City, which is in the St. Cloud area. But they had recently put down a whole bunch of new clay. and the clay isn't seasoned, and the track was like a motocross track. I mean, it was really, really rough and really, really bad. And I believe Kennedy did the smart thing and pulled out. Either that or she broke right away. So we don't have any results for her for Sunday night. But she'll be back at it again this weekend, and it's probably going to be the same thing, Menominee, Rice Lake, etc. So that's all I have. I just wanted to keep everybody posted. 16 years old, track champion, driving a Wasota modified. She's just she's so awesome. Great competitor. Anyway, Dawn.
Yes.
I like Toidles.
Yeah, do you like Toidles?
I don't know anything about this story. You guys were talking about this in the break. I haven't heard anything about any of this.
Okay, well, this is an article that Ross sent us here from Chicago. It says footage of a plump snapping turtle relaxing along a Chicago waterway has gone viral after the man who filmed the well-fed reptile marveled at its size and nicknamed it Chonkosaurus. Joe Santori was kayaking with a friend along the Chicago River last weekend when they spotted the large snapping turtle sitting atop a large chain draped over what appeared to be rotting logs. He posted this video of the turtle and labeled Chicago River Snapper, a.k.a. Chonkosaurus. And in the video, he's stunned by the size of the turtle. I mean, it's just well beyond its shell, they say. I've never seen the underside part of a turtle, except for maybe, I don't know, you're not used to seeing its fat flesh on the side, coming out of it, where it looks like it just has a little hat, like a yarmulke for a shell,
Yeah. Like when 20 pounds of bosom get stuffed into a 5-pound bra.
That's right, Kenny. I'm going to send you this. I'm surprised you don't have it, Kenny, since Ross put it in the email. But
I don't read
you
those.
don't read it? Okay, well, I'm gonna. I just sent it. I texted it to you so you can see how big this turtle is. I'd like your reaction, please.
The link will also be posted with this podcast for people who want to see it.
This huge turtle. I mean, have you ever seen an? It's really, what is it eating?
Well, that river, a few years ago, I was in Chicago, and they were excited and ecstatic to tell us that the Chicago River was now downgraded to only being toxic. So you can imagine what that poor turtle might be eating if it was the Chicago River. Radioactive hot dogs.
Do you see it?
That turtle looks like it should have its own show on
it's
maybe
obese.
TLC or one of those.
Yeah.
One of those channels.
1,000-pound turtle?
Yeah. I've seen many snapping turtles, really big ones too. And the first thing, you mistake them for a rock. And you're like, well, how the hell did that rock get there? And then it gets all twitchy and starts moving. And if you get too close, it turns and comes at you.
You just put a stick in its mouth.
And they'll break it, or they turn it right into kindling.
That is so true, Kenny. A few years ago, I was on a walking path that I take often.
Yeah.
And I came around a corner and was about halfway up a block and I was walking by a park. And I went, oh, that's odd. I've never seen that rock there before. Somebody must have moved it. Oh. I got about 10 feet from it and went flying into the air because I realized what it was. And it was gigantic. In the email, I did also attach a picture of it. I mean, just a huge snapping turtle.
That's right.
So, rock is accurate.
These things come out of the lake, and it's like they have no choice on where they're going to. Like it's, when you have got to go number 2 really, 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 really bad, and you can't get there quick enough. I think that's how it must be with the snapping turtles and eggs. They wait till the very last second when they're almost coming out, and then they race out of the water and up onto land and just drop them any old place.
God, don't they dig a little hole first?
I would not choose this spot to lay my new family down.
Yeah,
and from what I understand, after that's done, they just abandon them.
Yeah,
they're gone.
Like,
they're out of there.
I mean, it is a prehistoric creature.
They're horrible mothers. They're really awful mothers. God. They're right back down to the Legion.
Look at that.
The Legion.
Down to the Legion. Look at that. You said prehistoric, Dawn. Look at that tail on the one in Chicago. It looks like, what the hell?
What is it? Well, look at its ass. I mean, it's exploding out the back. and really
Yeah.
thunder
The baby
thighs
got
back there.
Yeah, baby
We would
got
call
back.
that an ill-fitting shell, I think. If
Yeah.
we were fashion
Yeah.
people.
What are your general thoughts on turtles, especially when they're this gigantic?
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
I don't,
Now
I'm not afraid
supposed
of them.
Oh, really?
No, because they're slow.
And you don't go in the water.
No,
They're
I mean,
fast in the water.
yeah, I'm not. I do like to see that. That's the only thing I like to see in the water. As far as like when you look down
Yeah.
and if you see a little turtle swimming around in the lake, that's cute. This is. I actually like turtles a lot.
I think they're pretty cool, but if you've ever seen the unfortunate case where they're out of their shell if something happens, they're very hideous and snake-like.
I don't.
weird
Can they
looking.
get out of that? I thought they would die. I thought it's attached to them.
If they did, typically, if something like that happens where there's been like an accident, maybe they're hit by a car, they wind
They
up
get
at like
run over.
they wind
Yeah.
up at
How'd
like a
you-
rescue or something, and people try and take care
A
of them.
shellless. Oh my god! I have to Google shellless turtle.
How much do you think you pucker when you're out water skiing and you're off over onto the right side of the wake and you see a head in the water that's about the size of a football? And all you can think of is, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Get behind the boat. Hold on tight. Don't fall.
Oh my god!
Because, they're giant, Don. They're the size of picnic tables.
Let me ask some
Now you're
city
lying.
questions.
Go
A
ahead.
table? City questions.
Yeah.
Like when we used to go to the lake 2 weeks a year, and I would see the turtle head sticking out by the dock. That wasn't a turtle that would attack me, right? I could go swimming because we
yeah.
never had problems with
No,
them.
I'm assuming
That's
I don't know what they're called. We just call them mud turtles. When
Yeah,
you
they're
pick them
just
up,
normal.
they've got
Yeah.
that really colorful bottom that's orange and green
Yeah.
and really
They just
pretty
stick
looking.
Their head up out of the water
Yeah,
and look
yeah,
around.
just hi, how you doing? Looking around.
Kind of
you know.
exactly.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other question I have is, and this will do the listener no good. In Ross's picture, do you guys remember Ross's picture? Mm-hmm. What is the head in there? It looks
what's
like there's
going
a
on with the
big
head?
It looks
hole
like,
in the middle of it.
No, it's not in the middle. His head is on the right side of the picture.
Oh,
That's his head.
I
That big
see.
uncircumcised looking thing.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then what's the hole?
No,
You're
that's
looking
his
at-
head.
You're
No.
looking at
Kenny,
the.
you're looking at a different picture because you didn't open Ross's email. He sent a picture of a turtle. Not
he's-
that one, but in the email, there's this one.
There's Ross took a picture a couple years ago, Kenny, of a
Christ's sakes.
Look at Kenny.
You can see it, John. You
balls.
need to zoom in. You see its little eyes in there. It's just really
Oh, you do. So the head's just kind of
Where is it, Ross?
drawn in.
here.
It's right next to the story, Kenny. Can't miss it.
Do you want me to resend the story or the
Didn't
email
mean
I
I'd
sent you?
cause, didn't mean to cause us much trouble. Sorry.
Yeah, John, it's your fault. Yeah, there's a whole. So Ross sends an email
Oh, yeah,
suggesting
that's-
stories to us because he's a
that's
great
his-
producer.
That's his head pulled back into his shell.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you just okay,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So another question, since you seem to actually know, seem to actually know a lot on this, that almost sounded really bad. My sister works in downtown St. Paul, or not downtown St. Paul, in St. Paul, and there's this area on the campus at the school where she works at where there's just a little lake, and it's got some animals in it or whatever, aquatic life, and there's a bunch of turtles, right? The turtles, when they see people on this bridge, they all come over to the bridge because they know people are going to feed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really smart. I mean, I don't know how good that is for the long term of the turtle, but also insane that they're smart enough to realize, oh, those weird looking people on the land, they throw me stuff to eat.
Yeah.
I think that's really fascinating.
What you have to do is just go to the shore and get a handful of pebbles and throw out some pebbles or gravel, and then they get really disappointed by that because they think they're
Why
getting
would it disappoint
they
turtles?
think they're
What
getting
is wrong with
Twinkies and
you?
they're
It
getting
makes me
pebbles.
feel sad.
He just needs some power in his life, so he's going to taunt turtles with pebbles.
That is the new.
Jeez, what a desperate, terrible place that you're in your life. It's so sad.
I can't say you're wrong. You're right. Sorry.
That is the new leader in the clubhouse, though, for my mythical alternative rock band, Disappointing Turtles.
There you go.
Fighting turtles. I
That's
like it.
good.
Yeah.
Well, you're not supposed to kill these snappers, but I have heard that from time to time somebody will take the law into their own hands.
When you say you've heard, that means you.
No, I don't. I couldn't. I don't
Okay.
have any reason to do it. But
Yeah.
the people I've heard that do it have kids, and they don't need one of these. Yeah. So
what about? Oh, I see. What about people that eat? Do y'all eat turtle soup up here? Is that a hillbilly thing?
I've never tried. I've heard of it. I've never tried it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it's about.
People do that.
I like Campbell's chicken noodle soup. That's about it. You know.
True. Yeah. So every year we would have the same turtles. This is terrible because I'm sure it's toxic for their shell. But we'd have box turtles come up and into our yard, and they're all over Missouri. And I would take fingernail polish and put like a heart on the back of one of them to see if it was the same turtle that came back.
Yeah.
I would like draw a little smiley face, and then it was like, oh look, our turtle's back. Like, it's amazing. It would come back to the same place. My aunt and uncle, who from California, one time came to visit, and they brought, because they drove in their car, 2 box turtles back home to Orange County. Where they lived, and those turtles lived in their backyard for 30 plus years, and they were enormous. And they would eat like lettuce and, just out there by the orange tree in Southern California, 2 huge turtles.
Are box turtles the same thing that I call just mud turtles? What do their bottoms look like? Or is it orange with a really cool design?
I think so.
Yeah,
their shell is a little more like round on the top.
Huh.
Yeah.
I just realized my Aunt Janelle, she's an animal nut, and probably in her 60s, upper 60s, has had a turtle for as long as I've been alive. And since they moved out of the Twin Cities and up to the Parker Rapids area, I think she only sees her turtle like maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks. She does, and the turtle's name is Margie. And Margie's just shuffling around the house somewhere, and nobody ever sees her. But she's
the house.
Just happy and content and living in the house.
Huh.
My sister-in-law got a turtle when she was in like junior high school, and she's now like early to mid 30s. And her parents have to still take care of the turtle because it's at her parents' house. That turtle's going to live forever.
But what's that involve? Just dropping some lettuce on the floor. It's good for a week.
Doesn't.
Yeah, well, this one's actually in like an aquarium, too. So it's in an aquarium with a heated light.
Solitary confinement.
Yeah.
You turn that turtle loose, it'll walk around the house and be just happy. You don't have to have it in the hole like it's done wrong.
Yeah, but then do you have to pick up like turtle poo?
Well, who the hell cares? Walk it into the carpet. Nobody will know.
Whoa, okay. Box turtles they really have a pretty like shell now that I see it. It's like a lot of orange and yellow patterns on it. It's really pretty. Yeah, and they do have a nice underbelly.
It's only a matter of time before Kenny says something and makes me spit my coffee all over this expensive board, and then I'm no longer producing this radio show or podcast, excuse me.
Yeah, yes, you are.
I'm looking at the clock, and I'm realizing we're almost running out of time. I had a bunch of really crappy stories I wanted to get to.
What about, we have like 15 minutes.
But I need to address something with you, McLean. You need to explain something to me. Mm-hmm. Been having a lot of dreams, and this one was from a couple of nights ago. The Aryan sales there? That's kind of what do we call that, where they have all those cubicle farm?
Yeah,
right?
Cube farm.
Well, there was a company-wide radio meeting in there, and everybody in the radio division, sales to producers, and everybody was standing in the aisles. And the radio meeting, and I remember this because somebody told me the second I walked in, it was to chastise Chris Reavers. This was all about getting pissed at Chris Reavers, which I thought was delightful. But I got bored at this meeting, and I was standing next to you. And the whole time we're having this conversation, you're very irritated with me because I'm asking questions, and you were actually running the board at My Talk from your watch. So you were throwing it to breaks and throwing it back in and out of programming and picking bumper music and doing all that. But the reason I wanted to bring this up with you, because I was trying to discuss with you ideas that I was having for the state fair. We might have to do a state fair show. And I'm kind of worried about this because you have a legit show that actually pays the bills. and it starts at noon. And it's on the other side of the fairgrounds.
Well, when do we do our podcast?
We're going to do the 2 Thursdays, and I had it slated from 11 to noon, but we'll have to move that up.
You're going to have to bump it up an hour at the very least, if not more.
Because I do
gotta
a
give
show from
McLean
noon to 3.
Yeah, we've got to give McLean a lot of time. But anyway, according to my notes, I wanted to have a strut like Mick Jagger contest.
Oh my God, this is very detailed.
Yeah. And I also wanted to have a yodeling while tap dancing contest.
You're all about the tap dancing.
Yeah. And then the meeting broke up, and this might get a little dark. And I'm sorry if it gets dark. But there was a movie playing in the studio where you're sitting there, and it was an old movie from the 60s, one of these beach movies, right? But it was a musical. And girls were being held down and accosted and abused during the musical numbers. And the girls were singing about it and being happy, and the guys were singing. And I was super, super upset with this. And I went running out of there to go, and I went back into the sales side to start telling people about it. And everybody was gone. There was just one lady there, and I tried to start telling her about this, and she gave me that look like, I'm going to call HR, you weirdo.
Yeah.
But it was very, very upsetting to me that the movie was portraying this, and the actors, both male and female, were happy about it. And I woke up in a sweat, and I'm thinking, what the hell does that mean?
Well, it has,
What's going on here, McLean?
Okay, well, overall, when you dream about work, you're dreaming about your own productivity. And now you have to take Chris Reavers is being chastised.
Oh, it was so delightful. And that I'm not making that up. They were running down all the reasons why Chris Reavers was screwing things up.
Well, you have to think about the 3 qualities that you think of when you think of Chris Reavers. You have to pick 3. You don't have to tell us because that's just personal to you. You're dreaming about that part of yourself. Okay, so your inner Chris Reavers is being punished because you're not able to do your productive things.
I'm worried that I'm being like Chris.
Yeah, but when it just comes to productivity, getting things done, completing tasks, and that he is getting the inner Chris is getting in the way of completing tasks. So it's about you. The dream's always about the dreamer. And then you have to think about what qualities I have to you. And then that's like the opposite, probably, of how you feel about Chris.
But no, you to me, in the dream, you were just you, but more so. I mean, you were at this meeting, you were dealing with my bullshit, and then you were running the board from your watch.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
And that is totally what something, McLean, if you could do it, you would.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool thing there. But
I want to know more about that so I can do this podcast from home.
So I think that between those 2 things, like you've got the image of Chris Reavers, like that's one part of yourself. And then the other part of yourself is the me. So the qualities you see, like maybe, I don't know what those are, but I think that your soul's like, here are 2 ways to behave in life. What do you want to do? Do you want to be Chris Reavers or you want to be Don McLean?
This is bad angel, good angel.
Maybe, yeah. And so you're kind of having an inner turmoil and a fight there.
Oh, okay. Maybe this has nothing to do with you or Chris. Maybe this has something to do with my brain, where one side is saying, light it up. Just light it up. Just have one. And the other side of my brain is going, don't you dare, you stupid SOB. It's been 40 years of this BS. Do not light another one up.
Well, if you were dreaming about animals, I would say yes, because animals are habits. So I would say, the dream, the part of the dream about the movie playing.
Yeah.
So movies are how you use your subconscious mind and your imagination to create things. And this, you are afraid that It has nothing to do with the assault or anything like that.
Okay,
it's just
good.
the violence of it. It's the violence of
Singing.
treating people not well. So you're sort of like afraid of the imagination. Now, that could be about the cigarettes because there's somewhere in your brain that's like, I have such an active imagination, I might be able to turn this into justifying smoking again. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to be violent to your body.
Right.
Okay, you don't want to hurt your body. So that is being acted out within this movie. So you see how you could sabotage yourself, really. And you're really upset, but you don't have other parts of yourself supporting you because everybody's gone. So... Yeah. I mean, it could all be. I bet you anything it is about. I mean, that's just you've just really taken it to another level.
What is with the brain where I can hate something so much to my core, and promise that I will never, ever, ever do that again, but still, I really, really, really want to. Just one. Just one. Come on, just one.
Yeah,
it'll be okay.
I think that is, I mean, I don't believe in when they say you have an addictive personality. I think that's kind of BS.
Well, my doctor said I'm an addict.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that I don't think there are addictive personalities because that kind of labels somebody as you can never succeed. It's just something that you need to see an example of somebody else that does it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that's what happened for me. Like, I read a really good book.
Oh, I've got the book.
Yeah.
I wrote it.
Yeah.
It's right there. I posted a note on the wall back there.
Stop Smoking Now.
By Al something or...
Alan Carr, not the comedian, but another dude. And, you know, he smoked 100 cigarettes a day.
That's 4 packs.
Yeah.
Or is that 5
and
packs?
And he stopped.
Yeah,
so,
that's a lot.
Anyway, that's the only thing that I can say that helped me. But
you know what helps me is the lungs are clearing out, so I'm coughing and hacking like I've been sitting down at the Legion all day, every day for the past. And every time I go on a 3-minute coughing jag, it's a reminder, a very helpful reminder.
Your body's getting the poison out,
right?
Truly.
And I haven't been able to sleep in bed. I've been sitting up for the past 10 days. Which
every
in
day
itself is
it's
a
repairing.
challenge.
Think of that, like you are repairing. You're in a time of healing. You know, it's like if you go back to all you're trying to do when you smoke, and he says it in the book, this isn't my own wisdom here, so I'm not trying to be preachy or anything. But something that stuck with me is that people that smoke, all you're trying to do is get to the place where non-smokers are because they feel that way all the time. You're trying to be calm. So when you light up a cigarette, you're smoking. During that time, all you're trying to do is be in the state of mind that people that don't smoke do. But you've reset the clock because every time you do it, you're starting over.
Very
And then when you put it out, it's the clock starts ticking again to the time where you'd want another one.
I have been doing this the same way that I do physical therapy. You just brought something up that gets me through physical therapy. Last time, they had a whole bunch of steel put in this wrist.
Yeah.
And was told I was never going to be able to use it again. And,
right.
You know, the way I used to.
It's like you would constantly be in a puppet show bird hand.
Exactly. No, exactly. And my state of rage was such that these son of bitches that are walking around right now with no steel in their wrist and no pain in their wrist and they don't know what it's like, it made me angry at them, and it made me want to be them. I want to get back to that point.
That's right.
And that's where I want to be with smoking. I want it to not have any kind of impact on me.
Or control over you.
Control or thoughts or anything.
I think the thing that it's a really psychological, that book is it's really super, super repetitive. And it's just like, this is easy. Like, don't believe people that say it isn't easy. Because it's not, and they're just he's just trying to basically brainwash you into believing that. But it works after a while.
Well, I couldn't do it unless, I wouldn't have been able to do it unless I got sick.
Yeah.
And I got sick so bad that just smoking wasn't an option at all. So I just, I shut it down.
Yeah, yeah.
But yet, when I ran into town here an hour or so ago to get a newspaper, the whole way in, I'm thinking, one of those big $10 punch cigars takes you about an hour and a half to work through it. You don't inhale that much because, be just the perfect, absolute perfect smoke.
Maybe it's something that you're avoiding. Like you're using it to avoid something.
But why is my brain saying that while at the same time it's saying never again, asshat. Never
Well, because
again.
the pathway to that, the smoking pathway, is super strong. You've gone up and down that road many times, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
you're just trying to create a new pathway in your brain, like neurons, and you just need to make that path. Think of it as like you've got a really clear path through the trees. That's like your regular path, but you're just cutting a new path. So just
This
keep
sounds
going
like-
down that other path. This sounds very esoteric.
No, for a second it sounded like a Denny Green speech in the locker room, didn't it? The Calcutta Clippers moving in and get the front coming that way.
Yeah,
and,
you gotta keep cutting that new path. You
and
can do it. It's outstanding that you've done 10 days.
And
Like,
here's
that
the
is
deal.
unbelievable. That's super good. Don't give up.
Don't never say that again, okay?
Okay.
Because you guys know how mentally messed up I am, right?
Well, yeah.
I don't.
We all are.
If somebody
look at Ross
sends
over
me, somebody sends me an email that's encouraging, and rah rah rah, and you go girl, and all that BS, I'm going to end up smoking.
Don't
you
do
hate
it
that.
because he's
So
very
don't-
obstinate.
Don't send me any kind of comment. Don't like, yeah, I quit 40 years ago. It was the best. Don't even acknowledge it. Seriously, because I am at a critical area right now. And if you start giving me pats on the back, I'm going right into town and I'm going to get a pack of darts and I'm going to blast right through them.
You're going to get a million emails now. Way to go, Kenny.
No,
Sons of
but just
bitches.
don't answer them. Who says that you have to answer emails?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ross, let's bring that music up.
Well, we
and,
know for a fact he doesn't answer my emails.
Yeah.
Or even read them.
Well, here's what just don't contact me and don't listen to this show and leave us alone and mind your
Thanks
own
for
business.
listening to News from the Crabby Coffee Shop. New episodes drop every week wherever you get your podcasts.